Hey, Rick, we had Zac Canull and Meighanwise on today, and they do a lot of the investment side. So, what was one of your huge takeaways?
I think the biggest thing was they've set it up as an easy button. If you, I've had rental property and I know how difficult it can be, and they've made it where it's not difficult for somebody. So whether you're an investor, you've done it in the past, or you've never done it before, or you're a real estate agent, they'll teach you how to do it. They have it totally set up.
Yep.
It is unbelievable, and they understand the value of investing in real estate.
Yep. And I thought one of the really nice things is whether you want to be a silent partner or you want to be more hands-on, you have those options because I'd be more the silent partner. But yes, I don't care if you have listened to every one of our shows, and I know I say listen to them. This is one you have to listen to, whether you are a realtor thinking about investing or whether you are just an average person. If you want to build wealth, this is one you need to listen to.
You definitely should listen.
Welcome to Indy's Real Estate Gurus, your ultimate guide to the dynamic world of real estate in Indiana. And I'm Rick Ripma, your hardworking mortgage guy, and I've been in real estate and mortgages for over 24 years.
And I'm Ian Arnold, a loan officer on Rick's hardworking mortgage team, and we are both with Advisors Mortgage Group. Together, we'll empower you with expert advice, market trends, and successful stories from guru realtors and local experts.
Whether you're a homeowner, investor, or pro, join us as we navigate the thriving Indy real estate market.
Now, get ready to unlock the doors of success, one episode at a time.
Today we have Meighanwise and Zac Canull. Zac's been on before. Zac, you've been on, it was a while back though.
Yeah, I think about 6 months ago.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and we're really happy to have both of you here, and especially having you back. And I know you've got some really exciting things going on in your careers right now. So, but we still want to start back in the beginning. Okay. So, Zac, you want to just kind of give us a refresher, and then Meighan could tell us about her.
Yeah, so I grew up around real estate. My dad had been in real estate, I think, for 53 years. He had a company out of Carmel called AM Real Estate. And, you know, even as a kid, I was going to open houses and showings with him. So it had always been something that was kind of on my mind. And then a few years after college, I decided to get my license and come back and work for the family business. And at that point, about a year in, my dad was kind of transitioning to retiring. And my older brother and I, back in 2015, started our own brokerage called Indy Home Shop. And a few years later, I started getting involved with working with investors, kind of watch them go through the home flipping process or, starting to get a couple of rental properties, and definitely intrigued me. So in 2019, I started, I got my first flip myself, and it's kind of been off to the races since then. So I've been working with, both my residential customers, friends and family, and people that I've met along the way to help buy and sell real estate. But I've also been building out rental portfolios and helping investors flip properties. And, fast forward to, last year, I started a new division within my brokerage called the Canull Group. And then I met Meighan, and we started, kind of just masterminding some ideas, and here I am now joining her team over at Keller Williams Portfolio.
Well, I know Meighan's you both are really into the investment properties.
Oh, yeah.
And so Meighan, tell us not about the investment properties yet. I know you're dying to, but how about what was your life like before real estate? How did you get in?
It's a really cool. Thanks for asking. I went to school because when you're a little girl, you just think I'm going to be a teacher because you loved school, and that's how I was. So I went and studied English, and I was going to go pre-law, but at Purdue. But I ended up switching to I ended up switching to teaching, and then I got into teaching world, and I was coaching basketball, and I realized that I couldn't see the sun. I was getting in schools at 7 and leaving at 8 o'clock, and those are still days I have right now, but it's way more enjoyable when you're working for yourself. So I was in the schools working, and I went back and got my license in psychology, and I used that master's degree to work as a counselor, and I was a guidance counselor at Carmel High School. So I was coaching and training kids on, their next steps after high school and how to be successful in the school. And that was really fun and enjoyable. But during the time I had a lot of nights and weekends and summers off. I'm a high energy. And so I thought, what could I do with my time? And I was building a house, and I sold a couple houses to friends. I said, come build with me. And the builder rep at the time said, oh my gosh, you've sold more houses than my assistant. You should just be a realtor. And then lo and behold, I got my license, and I was doing working in the schools and selling real estate. And I loved it. But then when I had my second child, it was push came to shove, and I had to give up one career. So I gave up counseling for the real estate world. Did not realize that real estate is a lot of counseling.
Yes.
And so what I've learned in helping hormonal teenagers transcended very well to, whether anxious or nervous or excited adults who were going through their journey of selling or buying. And so I love helping, and that's my helping people is my go-to and what fills me up. And so when I was doing this real estate gig, I grew very quickly, and I grew a team, and we've been top 10 in the nation, number 9 in the nation. And
wow, congratulations.
Thank you for my former brokerage. I was with them for 15 years at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, and number 1 in the state consistently, number 1 team in the state. So like a lot of really cool accolades that I didn't really care about at the time. I just cared about servicing my clients and being at home to be a great mom at night. So I was able to raise my babies, and my youngest now is 8, and I looked up and realized I have a lot more to give into this world, and I wanted to share my passion of how I stumbled into building my own portfolio of rental income, and that really helped me when I had a 2019 divorce, and I was able to amicably remove myself from a situation that wasn't like the best for me and my kids. And in that situation, those rentals and those income really was able to get me back on my feet in terms of finances. And so I really have this calling to everybody who's in situations where they want to have more financial freedom, no matter the reason, because I was able to do it as a self-taught teacher. So my passion is just helping others. And I figured that out as I flipped homes and bought rentals during the time I was at Berkshire Hathaway, and my team started going, what are you doing? How do you do it? Can I do it? And now 4 years later, I have just opened a franchise of Keller Williams, and we're really excited about using that franchise as a vehicle to bridge the gap for regular residential realtors who need to focus on themselves, invest in themselves, and build their own rental portfolio so they can have income in retirement, because we don't, as realtors, we don't have 401ks.
Right. It's funny. I was telling you off air, but we had Ron Rich and his son Jacob Rich. They're financial planners.
Yeah.
And I asked him, so what is the number one thing a real estate agent can do to build wealth? And he said, buy real estate.
I love that.
Because real estate.
He's right. It's yes. Our forte. And if we're doing it for others, we have to do it for ourselves. There's so many reasons to do it besides having financial freedom and having, some kind of retirement in the future, but just understanding the ins and outs of investments, because nowadays, those are the buzzwords: generational wealth, passive income, Airbnb, short-term, long-term, midterm, all these kind of things are here now. And as realtors, we have to grab hold of this. We have the knowledge. I just want to empower the realtors to say, use the knowledge that you already have and look at the amazing indie market that we're in for investments. The cost of living is low. Our taxes are low. We have such low crime rate. We are a beautiful city to invest in and to start now.
And you said we're what in the country?
We're number 4 in the entire nation.
Hottest housing markets in the country.
Hottest housing markets in the country, residential and investments. And we always have been investments. Zach and I I've had international investors all the time trying to put money here.
Yeah.
And let's take advantage of it and teach the realtors how to help themselves and how to help their other clients.
I've been amazed at how many people I've worked with that are in California, Colorado, Louisiana, all over. They don't live here,
Nope.
but they buy rental property here because
do.
they understand the value.
They do. Yeah.
Well, and just the cost of living is so different here. If you're looking in somewhere like California, maybe San Diego, for example, the starter home might be $700,000 or more. So if you come across someone that's wanting to invest, whether it's a realtor or anyone really, maybe they only have a couple $100,000 or maybe they have $50,000. And how do you get started? In California, you can't even buy a patch of dirt for that.
Right.
So it's like here, if you had, $500,000 to invest, you could buy 5 homes with that. So it's just being able to, spread out the risk a little bit and, get involved at a much lower price point. So it's attracting money from all over the country and all over the world, really.
It's great for our economy.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So if an agent is out there and they've thought about it, but they don't know what the first steps are,
just call us.
Just call us.
We will teach you. That's the answer. Is we have we have agents all the time.
Yeah.
And that's why we're merging, is because we feel together our brains and our resources and our experiences can really empower that agents. Like, I want to do it, I just don't know how. That we hear that so much. And it's really just having the confidence of having a mentor like Zach or myself behind them, hand holding them through the process at the beginning. I mean, nothing can be learned by just reading a book. You have to do. And so you have to get off that finish line and just start. But it's scary to do it on your own, and it's scary to do it with your hard-earned money. So you need to lean on someone that has expertise like Zach and I do.
All right. So let me ask you this. Now, I know you keep meeting realtors, and that might be just your main focus. But let's say my wife's an accountant. So let's say if she wants to get in investments, can she still call you?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And our audience is for the everyday investor, the newbie investor, the wannabe investor, and the realtors, because we believe realtors should be investing in themselves, but we also want to help them help their clients. We also have our own personal clients that come to us that say, if you have a great investment, let me know. We have a list of people that always ask. And so we want all the realtors to understand that there are people out there who want to learn, and the realtors, the everyday realtors that your wife may know, they don't have this knowledge. They don't have this access to source deals like we have. And so we want everyone to understand, whether you're a client, whether you're a customer, or whether you're a realtor, we have a platform and we're going to educate and train. So we have two that we're starting. One's going to be realtor focused only, and one's going to be investor, open to any possible investor.
The one thing I saw the other day that I thought was interesting is it shows in I think since like 1905 or some ridiculous, there's only been one time in the history that homes depreciated and that was in 2008.
Once.
Yeah. And I think
barely.
The last 50-year average is somewhere close to 5% across the board. And then if you look at, Indianapolis specifically, or the surrounding suburbs, we're probably much higher than the average. We've seen 5, 6, 10, 12, maybe even up to 14% in the last few years. And I think that's something that people get confused on, because you might see headlines that homes in certain markets that have already been inflated, maybe their values are staying a little bit stagnant, or maybe they're coming down a little bit because they were already artificially inflated. Well, the reality is real estate's always local. And for us, and for this area of central Indiana in general, we are poised for growth no matter what. And, if you've seen the developments going on with downtown, and then more corporate companies being attracted, more tech companies coming into Indianapolis, it's driving that residential growth. So, yes, everyone's seeing across time, somewhere around 5% appreciation, but I think we're going to beat that spread, for the next 5 years.
So buy now, not in 5 years.
Buy now.
Buy now.
That's kind of the key.
I wish I had bought more 5 years ago.
Yeah.
We wish we had bought more 10 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the whole mindset is what you don't know. It's for, like, as we got older, and I told my wife this, I go, to be honest with you, when I first married you, I didn't want a house because you would have disagreed with what house I bought and everything. But I should have bought it just for an investment.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't get married until I was almost 30. So think about it. If I would have bought it at 24, I would have had it for 6 years, turned around, resold it, had
I would have tell you to keep it.
And then do it. But I'm just saying that
it just had something.
It's foresight. Is you're like, should have done something.
Always.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They say the best time to buy a home was 10 years ago. The second best time to buy a home is now.
Right.
Yeah. So let's go through it. So they call you, and then do you walk them through all the steps? Do you show them, all right, is this a good area? Or maybe you should actually look at, I'm just mentioning places. So maybe you should look further out, like McCordsville or Brownsburg, or how do you guys do this?
So I think in the beginning, it's determining what the customer's goals are. Are they looking to build more capital? And if so, then maybe trying to get into flipping houses and something with a little bit more of a short-term return, versus I'd like to put some money into a long-term investment, then obviously something like rental properties makes more sense. So once we can establish what your goals are, then we can kind of steer you towards, well, how much capital do you have available, and what is your timeline to take action? And once we know, these certain metrics and maybe a few more, that helps us kind of steer you in the right direction of, okay, well, if you only have, let's just say $50,000 to invest, then most of the project needs to be financed. Here's the multiple ways that you can do so. Or, if you have the capital up front to do it in cash, then you could purchase and renovate and then take on financing later. So it just comes down to, what are their goals? What's their timeline? And then how much capital are they, ready to invest? And then we can kind of steer them in a certain direction of, based on the price point, based on your goals, we would recommend this area or this type of investment.
And, years ago, many, many years ago, I had rental property. And back then it was really easy to finance rental property. Then it got very difficult. Now it's really fairly easy to finance rental property. And I thought I should bring that up because it is something that people don't realize. It's not a difficult thing to do. Mm-mm. You need money. You need some money. You need to invest, right? You need to be a partner in it. You don't finance 100%. Back when I did it, you could actually finance 100% on a rental property.
Oh, wow.
But it's important that people know it's not difficult to finance a property.
It's not.
But it's more difficult, which is what you guys are addressing, is knowing what to do.
Right. Just who to call. There's many loans out there that are 10% down. So we can find you a property at $70,000. We can find you a property at $200,000. We can find you at $400,000. If we can get you into a property for 10%. We can also, the rehab for that property can be rolled into the loan. It's all pretty simple. We have very good contacts with hard money lenders and with conventional lenders that, like your guys' selves, that you probably can dip into that DSCR loan that are available now, which is a great loan that you can put against a rental property that allows you to take your cash out of that property, but still allows you to keep the home.
Yeah, there's just great products out there.
Great, yeah, and we'll teach you about them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if somebody is interested and they want to get a hold of you, either they're looking to buy, sell, or maybe it's a real estate agent wants to know how to do this.
Yes.
What's the best way to get a hold of you two?
For me, by phone at 317-548-8908, or by email at Zac, ZAC, at Canull-group, it's CANULL-GROUP.com.
And what was that phone number again? I can't remember it.
It was 317-548-8908.
Perfect.
And I'm just a text away all day, every day, 7 a.m. to midnight. So 317-937-0134. I'm in meetings most of the day, all day, and with clients, typically doing this already. So if a quick text, introduce yourself, or a voicemail, and then we can connect. And what we really like to do is face-to-face buyer consults on what your needs are. And a lot of people think, I don't have the money. You do. If you're sitting, 70% actually people have more than 50% of equity in their home right now.
Right.
So we can go and do a HELOC. You can get $100,000 out against your property, use $50,000 to put down and the other 50 for a rehab. And we can return a very nice return on that in about 2 to 3 months time. So the money there's a lot of creative ways. People sometimes, especially in Indiana, we're too conservative and we think, we can't use our own money. Your money in your home is your equity. You can use it to make more money for you. And that's what we're really empowered to teach people.
Yeah. And the equity today is incredible.
It's incredible. Yeah. And nobody wants to necessarily move right now unless they have a job need or divorce or death or they have to relocate. A lot of people are sitting on so much equity they do not know. So we're happy to do a free equity analysis and say, hey, you bought your home in 2020 for $400,000. It's actually worth $525,000 right now. And you can take that $100,000 equity out and you do a HELOC with a decent rate and you can take that cash, infuse it into a rental. And then once you get it, you can keep it as a long-term rental or you could do a flip and get your money back quickly.
Yeah, I think this is awesome just because, my parents never got into the investment part. Right. Basically their retirement and even at a young age was, I got a job and my dad took me to the bank. And he goes, all right, he wants to get a Roth IRA. He wants to deposit such funds every single month. And that was the way.
Yeah.
But once I got into this business, then I started thinking, all right, so wife wants to upgrade house.
Yes.
Let's possibly rent this one out. Let's
Yes.
do this. Let's pull out, like you said, a HELOC, use that money for the down payment of a new one.
Yes.
So there's a lot of people that are listening to this. I will say this right now, and they think this is easy. They're listening to you guys because you guys make it sound like this is like spreading butter.
It's easy.
But
You've seen the HGTV.
Yes.
Show
Takes
it all
2
the
seconds.
time. We can do it.
all right then. So then let me ask you this: why should somebody go through you guys instead of just going out on their own? What mistakes do people make?
So you need a life jacket before you jump in the ocean. Jeez.
Yeah, I think this is definitely not something that, if you have no training or no experience, I would not recommend doing this. It's not as easy as you see on HGTV. There's a lot more that goes into understanding, even just from the initial analysis of a property, and understanding that just because you're spending money on a property doesn't mean you're adding value. There's certain things that are going to increase the actual value, and there's certain things that are going to increase, maybe a buyer's interest in the property. And understanding how to find that balance of what renovations to make that do provide you that return on investment is really only somebody that's in the business and has experience doing this is really qualified to advise you on.
You can't read a book about it.
Yeah, it's not, you can't read a book. You can listen to a million podcasts and research it online. And I think a lot of people get caught up doing that.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is you need someone that's had the experience that we have and is able to explain and advise, this is what I would recommend. Here is a deal that we have put together. We've helped design the scope of work. We have a contractor's bid ready to go. And, for our customers and our clients and partners, here's where you can apply money and here's what it will work. If you're trying to guess and make this all up, along the way, good luck.
So let me ask you this. So let's say I wanted to do that, take out $100,000, put $50,000 out. Am I having to contact all these contractors or is that, is that handled? Okay. So basically
We're the easy button. We have the easy button for you.
So you'd be like basically you could be a silent partner.
Correct.
And just looking for an investment for 5-6 months, whatever it takes.
We like silent people.
You're like, I'm the best.
We have stories where they come in and go, I'm going to spend 40 on a rehab, but 10 of it is going to be on a fancy backsplash. And no, that's not how this works. So we appreciate people who trust our knowledge and experience. And the magic that Zach and I have is in 2022, I sold 223 homes. So the average realtor sells 3 a year. So the experience of the volume of the amount of homes that I've sold in and around Indianapolis allows me to pair up well with Zach to say, buyers want this. Buyers like that. This is what the market is dictating. When you sell 3 to 4 houses a week, you have a great pulse on the market. So we're able to combine our experiences and our knowledge, what buyers want, the here and now. Painting your house gray is not cool anymore. Do you guys know what it is? It's white. So you don't know that unless you're literally in it with the designers, interior decorators, with, clients who actually are up on the modern trends of design and decor. So we want to always be on that forefront. And so our experience can't necessarily be bottled up and written and handed to you. We understand the opportunity zones. Is Little Flower a great place to invest in, or is it Speedway? Is it Brownsburg? So we are understanding where the migration is happening, and it's happening north and it's happening south. We are in the know on developments and happening around 146 in Oleo in 4 years is going to look very different. There's a new golf course community being built there with commercial and industrial. So if you don't know that, then you don't know why the 80 acres I have listed on Cynthia Ann right now is listed for $4 million, because the opportunity for a developer is huge. So those kind of things you just don't know as an average person. So you have to lean on us and our experience of where the opportunity lies. But no, we're not wanting you to call all the contractors. Now, we are having a division where if you are that realtor or that investor that wants their hands on, we will handhold you. well, we have to educate you first. We don't want you to be silent if you don't want to be silent, but we want you to be educated first before you start talking.
I'd rather be the silent guy. Let you
Yeah.
guys handle all the stress, and I just sit back and hopefully cash in later.
Exactly. No, you
Yeah.
will cash in later. And the stress is on us, but we've done it so much that it doesn't stress us out. It maybe gives us annoyance for an hour, and then we move on to the next project.
Yeah.
Where you're not sleeping at night if you found out that the sewer scope on your house on College Avenue turned out with what?
Yeah.
We just had one.
A blockage and potentially,
Well, who do you call when your sewer's
maybe it
full?
needs to be replaced, and
the
how do you
sewer line
handle
in your
it?
front yard? Who are you calling? We have the people to call.
Yeah.
We don't want you to call.
I think they got a $4 million property, and man, that's a perfect start for
Let's
you.
go.
There we go.
Let's go. Get some
I'm
friends.
gonna need a pay raise here.
Get some friends.
So what do you guys see? I know you guys basically are getting this going. Now, do you guys plan on, and let's sit and think about the long future.
Sure.
Well, in the next 10 years, do you guys think a whole team, or what do you guys, what's your ultimate goal?
Oh, we'll be leading a brokerage where everyday realtors understand how to invest for themselves and invest for their clients. And people know that when they call Keller Williams Portfolio Realtors, that they have access to certified investor agents. So we have an education platform that also provides source inventory. And if you go through that platform as a realtor, you're going to be Keller Williams associated, certified as an investor agent. So an everyday person can go, I'm going to call them if I know I want to have investments.
To me, that makes total sense. And one of the reasons I didn't continue is because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, it's scary. It's hard.
It's hard. It was very hard. And the people I had supposedly working on the house didn't do their jobs. And
Never.
it ended up, and I was a terrible, terrible, terrible property manager.
Yeah.
And
I believe it. most people don't take care of their home. They're so busy, they don't take care of their own home, let alone their secondary home. And you lean on the tenant to take care of it.
yeah, I leaned on the tenant to pay.
Yeah, I did too. I did too recently,
Yeah,
and I
know
got.
that well.
You hope they do.
Of. It happened. Even my own self, I got taken advantage of $7,000 last year off of a tenant because I a kindness of heart and extenuating circumstances and agreeing to an extension. So I learned a little along the way as well. But you can't get taken advantage of as a landlord. We always believe that you should not self-manage. It's very stressful to self-manage. We have done it and we do it. But we believe that we're going to have we have an in-house portfolio management company. So when or if you find your rental and you don't do a flip, you do a long-term hold, you can confidently know that your house is being managed and taken care of. Property management is not fun. It's extremely hard. It's not super profitable, but it's something that is necessary. And it's typically 10% of your profits per month.
It's the only time I made money when I got a property manager.
Yeah.
Yeah. You look at it, you think, oh, I'm going to spend 10%.
Yeah. You're like, I don't want to spend it.
Right. But the reality was that's the only time I made money.
Yeah. That's
they
right.
can
I would never
they
do
can
it
save you a lot more than
Yeah.
10% a month
Absolutely.
by just understanding, how to handle certain situations. And, that's the type of stuff that only experienced property managers know how to handle.
Right.
And just to put everybody in perspective, an ex-counselor is telling you this. It's less stress. Take
Yes,
that.
yeah. I have a psych master's. Trust me. I understand the psychology of anxiety and stress. We want to remove that and have the easy button for our agents and our clients. We also want to have the in-depth hand-holding for our realtors. So if you're a realtor listening and you want to do it for yourself, join us. Right now, it's free in-house for Keller Williams. That's what we're doing. That's part of our value add. And our value proposition of being with us is having access to source deals that you can sell to yourself or to your friends, and also have this handhold workshop along the way. We're really excited about it. We're starting in March.
Now, this workshop, does that apply for just a customer out there, not a real estate agent, but they want to learn how to do
Yes.
this? Can they do that too?
Yes, we're going to have two. One's going to be open to the public, and one's going to be just for portfolio realtors.
Awesome.
All right. So we're going to take a little side step here in a second.
Yeah.
So first, if somebody's listening to this, they have questions.
Yeah.
What's the best way they can reach you guys?
Call or text 317-548-8908.
Yep. 317-937-0134. Call, text anytime, all day.
All right. Which one's nicer about answering calls? Hold on. Come on.
Probably her.
Oh, okay.
I like it. Probably, yeah.
She just said she doesn't answer. She doesn't. She's all the time.
Meetings all
Yeah.
day. But,
I asked who was nicer.
Yeah.
nicer. Yeah, I'll talk to anybody.
All right, so let's get to know you guys a little bit more. So I know Indiana has tons of great restaurants. So what's each one of your favorite restaurant to go eat at?
Oh, jeez.
To be honest, I just recently got to see and go to the Restoration Hardware restaurant, and I thought that was an absolutely unbelievable experience. It used to be a home, and it's on this absolutely gorgeous lot, and you pull up, and it's almost like this Miami-style mansion that you walk in, and it's also an art gallery. It's also a furniture store, and there's just the ambiance and the level of service that they provided there. It was something that, to me, I feel like I hadn't seen in Indianapolis before. So highly recommend.
Where is it?
Cool.
It's off of Michigan
Right,
and
right about there.
like 54th and Michigan area.
Oh, okay.
You have to make reservations, though. Get online, make reservations. They're usually about 3 weeks out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
much.
new restaurants tend to do that.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't. I'm not a foodie. I only eat to survive, so I don't really like.
That's why she's skinny.
I'm eating protein bars all the day. So I guess on my go-to would be Chatham Tap because they have the best nachos. If you ever had Chatham Tap, but my fancier place would be Prime 47. I love in Carmel.
Very nice one.
Nice steakhouse.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, mine's always been Jazz Kitchen down in
Oh,
Broadmoor.
yeah,
that's a good one, too.
That's a good one.
So Rick doesn't have one. He's not allowed to eat.
I have 5 kids under the age of 13, so eating out or eating and sitting down doesn't usually happen.
5 under 13.
We have
what are
5 in
their
the
ages?
house. You ready for this? I have a 7-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 13-year-old in the house.
Wow.
So 3 came out of my body, and the other 2 blissfully came into my life 4 years ago.
Okay, so you have 5 kids that you're taking care of.
Yes,
And you sold how many houses?
223.
That's it? Why
That's
not
it.
224?
I had a team of 7 that helped me. I personally managed about 40 million of that myself. Yeah, the numbers.
incredible.
When does she sleep? We never.
The
I don't
numbers
know.
are pretty astounding, and I just sold and had my babies and sold and had my babies, and I kept my head up, and Berkshire Hathaway put me on a national panel, and I realized when I started traveling in 2018 and 2019 that my numbers were pretty incredible for the state of Indiana, let alone nationwide. So I'm standing up on awards, next to California and Texas and all these $1 million properties, and it feels pretty cool. And then I realized, I have something here. I know what I'm doing, and I love coaching. I love teaching and sharing it to others. So opening a brokerage after 15 years of real estate was my next step, just so I can have a bigger breath of like getting into people's knowledge, getting into their heads, and letting them know what they can do and inspiring them.
Well, you've done an awesome job. That's
Well,
amazing.
thank you. Yeah, I love it. It's so fun.
Yeah. I did one year I closed 112 million.
Wow.
It was 694 loans.
Oh,
Wow.
geez.
And you look at it and you go, how did you do that?
Yeah.
I don't know how. I
You just do it.
and I'm not great. I have a team that tracks. I have an admin that tracks, but I don't track during the year. And at the end, I put my head up and I was like, "Oh, well, damn, that's pretty good."
You don't have time to track.
No. I was part of the first team that ever broke 100 million in the state of Indiana, and
Wow.
then after that, I was we did 300 million years in a row, and then I left that because that was amazing and it's so fun. But now I want to give my knowledge and my experience to the next generation.
Yeah.
I'm an old lady now.
You're a team or not, it's close.
That's what it feels like.
All right. So we get a lot of first time home buyers, and we try to tell them what buying a house can do for them. So let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what if somebody were to start investing at a young age.
Yes.
What's the benefit over time?
Well, I can definitely say that your first investment should be your own home. And that's something that I always have a message that we've always tried to pass to first time home buyers is that not only are you getting yourself a home, but you're investing in your future, and it's probably going to be your biggest investment. And that's why it's extremely important to use someone that understands the home as an investment and not just someone that will open the door and say, oh yeah, buy this one or buy that one. It's we try to bring that level of expertise and knowledge and understanding that not only is this a good location for you, but the neighborhood has been on an upward trend, and this area has appreciated, X% in the last few years. So we can be confident with helping our clients, get them the best deal possible, but also let them know that this is an investment in their future. So basically we would just say, start there, get your own home first and build equity over time, and understanding that there are going to be options in the future once your home's value goes up. Either you sell and you buy a bigger house, or like we talked about earlier, you tap into that equity and you start investing in your next property.
Yep.
And you, as a new first-time buyer, you can purchase 22, 23, 24, have mom or dad or rich uncle co-sign, figure it out, but get into a home and then rent the other bedrooms out. People don't want to be in a cramped apartment right now for $1,300 a month. You can rent out 2 of your rooms at $500 a piece, and that's what, half your mortgage. And all of a sudden, your friends are paying for you to have a mortgage and paying down your mortgage.
Yeah, same with like a double or a triplex.
Oh, I just posted about my double yesterday. I bought a double in Indianapolis on 21st Street, sight unseen, for $70,000 2 years ago. It's now worth $130,000, and I get about $850 a side. So it's $1,700.
Yeah.
Zach likes those numbers, right?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
$1,700 a month, and I don't touch it. And so, but it's grown from 70 to 130 in 2 years. Like, I can take that equity. So listeners are listening, that made money in equity, I can pull out of the home and go purchase another property. And that's called leverage.
Yes. I have a customer. I actually just talked to her yesterday. She's a real estate agent, and what has been for years. And she owns a tremendous amount of real estate.
Oh, I need to talk to her.
And she doesn't, she's so flush with cash. It's unbelievable because I think she has 25 or 30 properties.
Wow.
She doesn't owe anything on them anymore.
That's
because she's
awesome.
had them forever.
Great.
Wow.
And it's just, and she's like she's one of my favorite people. She's just phenomenal to talk to, but I don't know how old she is, but she's older than me.
And that's her retirement. She doesn't have to work. She chooses to work.
Yeah, she chooses to work.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, she came in one time and she had been replacing her floor. And at that time, she was probably 70, 73, 74 years old. She loved it.
Yeah, they do.
But, and you think how great that is, not only financially, it's great physically.
It really is. I have this lovely investor. His name's Michael Graham. He's probably in the late 70s. He's built his portfolio over the years, and he is his own handyman, his own property manager. But his tenants love him. He's watched them grow, raise children in his homes, 10, 15 years in his homes. And I've sold a couple for him over the years as his body's been kind of getting too tired to do some of the heavier work. But there are some really cool stories about local investors who love their tenant. They're creating opportunities for a tenant to live in a home because she didn't have credit. And now she's trying to buy it from him, and we're going to do a sale between them. But it's just such a really neat experience. And I've done the same to provide a safe home for someone who can't get into a home, or they're priced out of apartments and they can't pay for an apartment, or their family's too big. And now you can give them a nice home with a yard for their kids and their dog. And otherwise they wouldn't have been able to get into one. So there's some really cool stories that inspire me by being a landlord.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's really awesome to do. One other thing, I was talking to a guy up in Chicago, and he was older, and he goes, you don't have to be smart to end up rich.
That's true.
Because he said, I started buying rental property when I was younger, and now I'm rich. And he goes, I'm not that smart.
No. He just had enough risk in his mind to go, I could try this. What's the worst case? The house doesn't work out. You sell it.
Yes.
Like, what's the worst case? If it doesn't work out, you sell it. And we just said how in 50 years, home prices have always increased. Right. So it's a no-brainer to me. And I wish that more brokerages talked about it more openly and taught more on it. And they didn't. So I created one.
I think it's awesome.
Thank you.
So let me ask you guys this question. So how many investment properties do you have?
I jointly own with my fiance 38 doors.
And Zach?
I jointly own 20 doors right now.
All right. That right there speaks volume. says it works. And that's the reason I wanted to ask, is because you guys have been doing it. You guys know how many. You have your own. It's not like you're just basically, oh yeah, I did this. You wrote it in a book, and now you're selling your book.
Yeah,
I did it once with somebody else's money, and that's it. No, we've had our own blood, sweat, and tears into many projects that have gone good and bad, but overall, they're all lucrative. At the end of the day, it's lucrative.
And that was something that, you know, in the beginning when you're first starting to get into it, there was a lot of trial and error in my beginning, and a lot of a lot of the first projects and my first flips, they were more of a learning lesson than they were a lucrative situation. So, but the reality is every single project has taught me something, if not many lessons. And this is just one of those things where as you're learning over time and you're kind of honing in your skill set, you're able to, tighten up the margin of error and be able to deliver, a more consistent return on investment, because sometimes you just have to make the mistakes and kind of fail forward to be able to, know what not to do.
Yeah. Well, I think that's some of the things you guys help.
Oh, for sure.
With what you do, the mistakes are going to be very, very, very limited.
Yes. It's just like, like you guys know way more about mortgages than I do. I'm going to call you and ask you, right?
Right.
And I have a pretty cool starting story. Was I listed a home in downtown Fishers 10 years ago. I got 5 calls the day it listed, because everybody but me, because I'm a brand new realtor with very little training, knew that the downtown Fishers area is going to be all redone, right? 4 or 5 calls that day. And I stopped and I go, why would I sell it to you guys? It was $100,000. It was a small townhome. And I thought, well, I'll buy it. And that's how I got started, because I was like, well, something must be going on in this area. And I did a little research and I thought, oh, well, I'm doing it. So I bought this house, and it was a 2-bedroom. It's $100,000. 10 years later, I still own it. I love that little house. It's worth about $250, $275. I get $1,900 a month on a 2-bedroom in downtown Fishers now.
Nice. Yeah,
before COVID, it was $1,400. Rental rates have drastically increased due to the housing shortage, due to lack of inventory. So that happened, and I put a tenant in there, and cool enough, I had a friend go through a divorce, needed a safe home, immediately put her in there. So it was like a great story to be able to share a home with someone that needed it in that time. So then I thought, everyone told me, don't, stay in the schools, because they have great pensions and 401ks. And, this is back 10 years ago. And I thought, well, they scared me. So I thought, well, that's going to be that house is going to go for my first child. If he needs college, he needs anything, that house is going to afford. Well, I have 3 kids. So then I was like, well, I have to do 3, as long as I get 3. So within about 2 years, it was so easy. And I was like, holy smokes, this isn't that difficult. I leveraged, and then I bought 3. And then I thought, well, why stop there? And then I went to 7. And then I met my fiance, Josh, who's basically the godfather of Marion County, Center Township. He got shot at this week at one of our rentals. And that's where that's where the real money's made, right? Yeah. And so he was able, he was a local market specialist for national big institutional firms, or big REITs would say, I want to buy packages of homes in 5 or 10. And so he was negotiating a sale of a package of 11 homes. And I heard him on the phone in our early days, and I thought, well, tell me about this package. And so lo and behold, I said, well, I would want to buy this package. And it was a professional golfer who was liquidating, which investors liquidate all the time to upsize in apartments or multifamily, whatever. He said, Josh, after 8 years, you managed this home, you bought these homes, you've managed them for me. I made so much money, just sell them for what I paid. And he had paid $75,000 per door. So, not knowing much on my ears go, oh, well, that's a good deal in 2022.
Yeah.
So, and that purchase price of that package was $800,000. The appraised value was 1.5.
Wow.
So the day I bought that package, the spread I made in equity is life-changing money.
Right.
So I took that risk because of my experience being a baby investor and doing it a little bit on my own. I was able to take that risk with Josh and buying that package, and it totally changed our world. And now that package pays for our home on Geist that we just purchased. So we're very proud of that. We're both hard workers. We both blew up in blue collar families, and we're going to express our gratitude for understanding and doing this. And then we want to showcase it and teach others. That's really our passion.
So let me ask this. So when you got the first person that comes in there and they doing their first investment, how many more times do they keep doing it? And what do you think the percentage they do it again?
All the time.
There's very few investors that I've ever come across that, are in this idea of, I just want to do one, one and done. I think the reality too is just understanding that, especially for flipping homes or even rental properties, one property is not going to change your life. It's not going to make you rich. You're not going to make $1 million on one flip or one rental property. Really building that volume, or being able, on the flip side, it's how many can you turn in a year, and how many, can you utilize the funds you're making and reinvest and have 2 projects going at the same time, or eventually 3 or 4 or 10, or, as you scale up. And then can you take some of the money that you're making from the short-term, investments, such as flipping, can you take that and put it into long-term investments? So it's like you can use the profits you're making on your short-term turns to build your long-term portfolio. And that's something that we always advise is, why not get involved and invested in both? It also makes you a little bit market proof. If there was something to happen in the future where the market was to turn down, well, no matter what, either the demand for wanting to purchase a home or the demand for wanting to rent in a home, it's always going to be there. People need a place to live. So it's one of those things where it's a way to diversify your investments. And we recommend, being able to do both.
Yep. The reason I asked is because, and you answered it great, is because if you've never done it, you're a little apprehensive. But what it tells me by your answer was that, look, once somebody does it once, they want to do it again. Is because they got their return.
Yes.
And that's what speaks golden. I mean, so let me ask you guys, somebody's been listening to this and now they got the bug.
Yeah.
They have to do something.
Yeah.
Whether they got equity in their house, whether they already have funds.
Sure.
They want to talk to you guys. What's the best way?
They can reach out, call or text 317-548-8908.
Yep. And call or text 317-937-0134. Any day, all day.
And to get a hold of Ian or I, go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com. Or you can give us a call at 317-672-1938. It's 317-672-1938. And please follow us for more Indy's Real Estate Gurus. Almost forgot to say follow.
Yeah, follow for sure.
And reminder, if you have any friends, family, coworkers looking to buy, sell, refinance, or even invest, contact us. We'll be more than happy to help you guys. Hey, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you guys on, and we look forward to hearing you guys come back later and tell us more success stories and how you guys have blown up.
For sure. We're very excited. We just bought our first one together last week.
Really? Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
Jack
awesome.
and I did. So we're going to use it as a guinea pig for our brokers to really dive in and do field trips and understand all of this. So we're really excited to share. Thank you for having us. And we feel your energy and excitement for it. We're thankful that you guys understand it, because we just want to get out to the world that there is ways to have some financial freedom outside of your 9 to 5. And we're happy to help you get there.
Yeah. And this is one of the best ways.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
It's the best way, sir. The way.
You're either a trust fund baby, or you own your own business, or you invest in real estate. That's the way to make some money where you can have some financial success and freedom. So we're here to help.
Yeah. And, our goal is to help our clients build that generational wealth through real estate. And that could also be, realtors as well. So we're just trying to help investors understand, whether it's their first time or they've done 20 in the past. We want to be a resource available to them to help them build their portfolio and build their wealth over time.
And my next phase after this is going into the high schools and getting in the entrepreneurial classes and getting those seniors who may not be going to college or who have marketing and skills to transcend college and maybe just jump straight into this kind of stuff. We're really excited about teaching the younger generation building their own wealth and not having to rely on that 9 to 5.
Yeah. So when you said go to the high schools, I literally thought you were saying you're going to go get some teachers and turn them in real estate.
Oh, I've done
that's
that.
like the number one spot people get them.
Oh, yeah. I have about 4 on my team at Berkshire, a former Spanish teacher and a former assistant principal. Teachers make the best realtors. They're super, super detailed and thorough. So, hey, teachers out there, call me too.
All right. Hey, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you
Thanks
very
for having
much.
us.
Branch NMLS number 33041. Rick Ripma's NMLS number 6645889. Ian Arnold's NMLS number is 1995469. Equal housing opportunity. Some restrictions apply.